Can you please tell us your name, tribal affiliation, and role at SNAC?
Adet Heyoshine Manny na Chiricahua Apache o Wukchumni. Hello, my name is Manny. I'm Chiricahua Apache and also Wukchumni. I'm originally from Visalia, California, and I am a community health program manager here within our SNAC organization.
What were you doing before SNAC?
So before I entered into SNAC, I was actually living in Santa Barbara. So I was working for the Indian Health Clinic out there in Santa Barbara, doing similar work, doing community work. So I would do different cultural programming, to regalia making workshops, to basket weaving workshops, teaching people how to make moccasins. Also doing a lot of traditional foods, education workshops as well. And then in my free time, what I would do is I would go out and gather some plants after following local protocol of asking permission to, like, hey, am I able to gather here? And go about those appropriate ways. And I would gather different plants and I would harvest it, process it, and I would go take it back home or give it to anybody who might need it. So any cultural medicines or any traditional foods like elderberries or lemonade berries or lemon berries. And also just different basket weaving materials as well. I know my elders, they're all older. And so one of my main goals is to really just go out there, just gather what I need to gather. Well, not over gathering, and processing it and giving it to my elders so they can keep on practicing our culture traditions on however they see fit, because they're older, they can't really go on the side of the mountain anymore or bend down on their knees to go gather some white root or harvest different types of plant materials that might be a little bit high up, but that's where the next generation comes in. So that's what I like to do for my community.
So you've been doing community work for a little bit now. What is it about the community work that's like kind of kept you like obviously within like that path of just being involved in community?
So what kept me involved with wanting to continue my work in community is just being part of community overall. My elders, they really instilled into me just that good intentions and that warm, welcoming feeling of just being part of community. Where if there's any type of struggles or if there's anything that were to arise, we could always go to one another in order to help each other out. Whether it's needing a little bit of mental health, support, spiritual health, emotional health, or even physical health too. I know that I'm able to rely on our people, and my people are able to rely on me as well. I think every generation has their due diligence in order to contribute to our living space and the different lands that we walk on, with respect and also kindness. And I know my responsibility as a younger indigenous person is to really make sure that I'm able to help spread kindness. I know my elder Nicola, one of the words that always stuck with me, she would always say, make our people proud. And so that's what I always strive to do, is to make our people proud.
Here at SNAC, you've been a part of so many different things from like the Two Spirit Talking Group to Runner, which is our Respecting Natural Native Relationships program. What has been your maybe favorite moment at SNAC, or maybe something that's just like really stuck with you throughout this time?
My favorite moment is definitely hanging out with the kids. They just all have some cool personalities, and I know I even though I like to think I'm a youth, I'm not a youth anymore. Not even a transitional age youth, which is going into adulthood. I'm a full grown adult, but just being around just that youthful energy, just hearing their conversations, not much of a worry in the world, just wanting to hang out and just have a good time and just a lot of laughter really makes me feel as if I'm young again. It reminds me of my grandfather. My grandfather passed away back in 2020, so sorry, 2001. But he always used to say, "Oh, I always love hanging around young people because it makes me feel young," And so I always carried that thought in back of my mind, but it never really came out until I became an adult and I started hanging out with different youth. Even though I'm not a youth anymore, I still feel very youthful whenever I hang out with all these different kids from all parts of Sacramento County and even leading into Yogalo County and so on and so forth. They're just very much they inspire me. They really do inspire me, and I will never ever put down the next generation for whatever they find interesting, because the next generation is the one that's going to be teaching us, just like my generation is the one who taught the older people some things too.
So this is a little out of order, but
Mhm.
going back to a little bit about like some of the stuff that you're doing beforehand of Snack, like what led you here to Snack
Mhm.
to continue doing that good work that you've been doing?
Mhm. So when I was working in Santa Barbara, I was a community program coordinator. and I felt that it was my time to go. I lived in Santa Barbara since 2015, and that's when I was going to school, and then I graduated in 2017. I left Santa Barbara for about 11 months, 11 months to have 1.5 years. But I decided to come back because I really love the community. I miss my friends. I miss just the welcoming environment that the folks in Santa Barbara really created, especially for younger people. And I really do really love to put a shout out, to the Coastal Band of the Chumash Nation and also the other Chumash bands as well for really welcoming me into the community in a good way. And when I was there, they see me grow up, from a youth to basically a full grown adult. And I just felt like it was my time to go. It was my time to go. And I felt like I was able to really offer everything I had within my role as a community programs coordinator. And there was nothing else that was left for me to share with everybody else. I felt like I wanted to, it was my time to go in that I wanted to allow another person to enter into my role so they're able to keep things going, but also making sure that the local community who were involved with the different programs were able to keep on receiving something out of it and not repeating the different workshops that I would conduct or the different type of quotes that I would tell my elder or that I would quote my elders on and everything in that way. So it was very much just me wanting to create space just so I'm able to support that community, even though I really do miss all my friends over there, but supporting them from afar. And so when I came here to Sacramento, I put my job application to a lot of different Native organizations all throughout California, and Snack, they called me up after a few days after I sent out my application. I had an interview, and lo and behold, next thing you know, I'm here in Sacramento. And my previous boss, who's actually one of my really good friends now. Well, they've been my good friend for a while, but my previous boss. What's funny is my previous boss, she actually moved to Sacramento a month before I even knew I was going to come here. And I remember I joked around saying, "Oh, I'm just going to follow you to Sacramento." And lo and behold, I moved to Sacramento, and um, I lived literally less from a mile from her in Santa Barbara, and then here in Sacramento, I lived less than a mile from her again. Not knowing where she was at. So it was really awesome just having a little piece of my Santa Barbara home, even though I was a visitor there here in Sacramento. It really provided me a good grounding support. And also when I was finding my footing here in my community here in Sacramento as well.
So, lastly, November is obviously Native Heritage Month. Can you just maybe describe maybe like what the month means to you?
So the month of November means a lot to me in many different ways. One, there's a whole bunch of cool things happening this month, all over Indian country. And then two, for me, it just makes me feel recognized. It makes me feel seen. It makes our people feel seen. Sometimes it's very hard to go about different spaces and not really be recognized in that way or met with some type of confrontation that people think it should be okay to say, like, oh, what's your spirit animal, or hey, can you do you live like in a teepee, or hey, can you make me this necklace, this beaded medallion for $10? Oh no, what, you want to charge more than that? That's too expensive, So it gets really it weighs on you. It's like little stacks. Just weighs on you, weighs on you, weighs on you. And for me, I'm a very patient person, but sometimes my patience runs out. But for this month, it just makes me really feel seen within community and feel seen within my family as well, because I do come from a biracial household, Native and also Mexican as well. And so it makes me feel seen within different parts of my family members who are not Native, and then also makes me feel seen just out in public, because everyone just really just understands and tries to be mindful, and there's a lot of openness during this time for education around what is appropriate to say and what's not appropriate to say, and also how we are able to be treated as this might be a little bit too dark, but treated as human beings in a way. And so, but however, for me, I think that even though November is Native American Heritage Month, I think every month is Native American Heritage Month because something goes on all throughout the year. It doesn't stop here. It's year round. And so, for all y'all out there who want to continue this celebration or honoring Native Americans or Indigenous peoples throughout the month of November, I encourage you to keep on honoring everybody throughout the rest of the months as they come through. You know, because we're all one big community, so we got to help each other out and making sure that we are making our people proud. And I really do mean making sure that all our people are proud.
You kind of mentioned some of the maybe microaggressions that
Mm-hmm.
you've experienced as a Native American person, and obviously outside of this month, like Native Heritage Month should be every month. So, do
Mm-hmm.
you have a message maybe that you want to share for people that are not Native American and how they can just continue to, I don't know, continue to uplift those voices, and maybe anything you want to say to them?
Mm-hmm. So, for those people who want to continue uplifting Native voices, I highly recommend being a good decolonized ally. A lot of folks may think that they're a good ally, and that's true, but we never stop learning, we never stop growing. And so, making sure that we are checking in with ourselves and also checking in with others. And say if somebody comes to you and is saying, like, hey, that's offensive, or hey, I don't appreciate that, really listen to them. Really listen to them. The best thing, in my opinion, that you can do is just acknowledging, like, hey, I realize this is wrong, and then make the commitment to move forward. I am committed to moving forward and learning more. My apologies. That's one of the best things you can do. Not meeting with aggression or frustration or irritation, not saying I have a native friend who says it's okay, because one person does not speak for everybody, but just making sure that we are open to kindness and open to understanding and just open to love. I don't know about you all, but I love love. And I want to make sure I continue walking in a good way and also continuing to spread love wherever I go, even if it's just me smiling and nodding and listening. Sometimes that's the best thing that I can do in certain spaces, and sometimes the other best thing I can do is just make sure I make a whole bunch of food so I can feed everybody. But thank you so much.